And welcome to another special weekday edition of ABC 7 Extra. I'm Eric Elkin. ABC 7 continues to bring you in-depth, interactive discussions to keep you up to date on the coronavirus pandemic and its effects on the borderland. And we welcome your questions and comments. You can send them to share@kvi.com. Again, share@kvi.com. Last night on ABC 7 Extra, El Paso Mayor DeMargo was one of our guests, and he discussed whether El Paso is ready to reopen the city's economy in light of Texas Governor Greg Abbott's plan to slowly reopen the state. We've decided to continue that conversation today, and as we do, El Paso reports an additional COVID-19 related death, bringing the death toll to 9. The city also announces 9 new cases for a total of 540. So I welcome El Paso Mayor DeMargo now joining us. And Mayor, the new cases announced today under double digits at 9, but it's hard to call it a good day when you have to announce another death today.
That's true, Eric. I'm pleased that the number of new cases hasn't been accelerated. It's not double digit, but we're always saddened when there is someone who's passing because of this coronavirus. And this is a gentleman in his 60s, and we're still investigating his underlying condition.
As we start another week of this, and I know you talked about this on Extra yesterday, obviously state parks across the state, with the exception of Waco Tanks and the Franklin Mountains here in El Paso, reopening today, and we're getting closer to some other things happening by the end of the week, the business to go. Where do you feel El Paso is at right now? Because you and Dr. Hector Ocarranza continue to stress we can't get complacent right now.
No, we can't get complacent, and we've got to abide by the social distancing and the washing of hands and wearing of masks, preferably. There are 5 state parks that are not open at this juncture. Big Bend is not open. Our 2 parks, Waco Tanks and Franklin Mountain State Park, is not. We're still discussing how we can control social distancing and the issues that we had there. I think I've made mention of the fact that in the 2 weeks prior to the governor closing state parks, we had 5 rescues on Franklin Mountain State Park. And every time we have one of those rescues, it takes up to 40 fire rescue personnel to get someone off the mountain. And we just can't continue that. We don't have the manpower nor the dollars to continue to do that. So I'm trying to look at, where's the happy medium on that? And I'll be talking tomorrow afternoon with the head of Parks and Wildlife related to our parks to see what we can do.
What kind of challenges are you facing there? Because right now, as it stands, obviously the parks and the playgrounds are closed. I was talking earlier with a city spokesperson, and they were saying that some of the paths are open, which you addressed last night, which included an example of that would be on the west side, the path along Wrestler as you're walking towards Trans Mountain. That is something that is open. It's wider than a typical sidewalk, but that's one of those challenges people face, even when they're social distancing, going for a walk on their sidewalk, which they're allowed to do. It's kind of hard to social distance if you are crossing paths with other people when you're on the sidewalk.
You just got to be careful. I mean, that's the whole thing. We had some issues related to the walking path on Riverbend. Some overly zealous parks people were closing that, and that's not to be closed. That's more like a sidewalk next to the street. But I would like to have all the paths on all the parks opening. We're tweaking our order. I haven't had a chance to visit with Judge Samaniego, but there are several things that we're going to be tweaking to comply with the governor's new orders as of last week. For instance, the retail. He's allowing retail to open up as long as you have no entry into the customers cannot enter the stores or the retail establishments, and the deliveries must be brought out to their cars or by mail or other delivery mechanisms. So they're basically opening all the other businesses and calling them essential with certain restrictions. On the elective surgeries will be available to be done as long as certain criteria is met. So we're tweaking our directive to do that. And also I'd like to take out, and Judge and I've talked about, take out that restriction on the 100-mile limit, because that's just confusing and it really doesn't add anything to it. But the main thing is people have got to still maintain social distancing, no large gatherings, washing your hands. And I really want to encourage people to wear masks.
And we'll get more on the mask. I also had someone ask me specifically about Elephant Butte before we came on the air, and I told them, well, that's beyond the 100-mile, so that would mean that when you come back, you'd have to quarantine for 14 days. But I also want to talk more about the small businesses when we come back. We do have to fit in a quick commercial break, so when we come back, we'll continue to relay some of the questions that you've sent to share at KVI.com. You're watching a special edition of ABC 7 Extra.
On August 3rd, a young man filled with racial hatred sought to destroy and divide our community.
Instead, we came together in unity and mutual love.
COVID-19, this destructive virus, now poses a new threat to our community and its members.
It is time for our community to come together again.
If we make sacrifices now by adopting safe practices, we will defeat this new threat. Once again, we will be a model to the nation.
Together, we are El Paso strong.
The KVIA News app alerts you to breaking news about coronavirus in the borderland. It lets you know when there's special coverage outside ABC7's normal newscasts.
Get the app, get the alert.
Tired of your electric bill going up every year? Become your own provider of electricity with American Solar Group. We've helped our customers cut their bill in half by going solar, decreasing their dependency on the electric company. With us, there's no upfront cost, no down payment, and if you act now, you can take advantage of your 26% tax credit. On top of that, American Solar Group is offering you a cash stimulus package to help out during these tough times. When you sign up for a new solar installation, we'll give you $1,000 cash and no payment until January 2021. Call American Solar Group right now.
If you're sick with mild coronavirus symptoms, avoid people. Get plenty of rest, call a doctor if symptoms get worse, and stay home. Drink fluids, cover your coughs, and stay home. Most people feel better soon. In the meantime, stay home.
For over 80 years, Nissan has been with you through thick and thin. And now is no different. We're offering payment options for current owners. Our service departments are here to help. And now we're offering more help. No payments for 3 months, plus we'll cover your payments for up to 2 additional months. Or get 0% financing for up to 84 months on 13 models. This is help when you need it.
Find your perfect dress for your perfect evening at Ella Blue. Unique prom dresses from exclusive designers will help make your special night unforgettable. And most importantly, we register your dress so that no one else will be wearing it at your prom. For the special moments in your life, Ella Blue.
Welcome back to this special weekday edition of ABC 7 Extra. Our guest today is El Paso Mayor DeMarco. If you're just joining us, El Paso just announcing within the last few minutes another COVID-19 related death. So the death toll now at 9. And I welcome El Paso Mayor DeMarco in once again. Mayor Margo, before the break, one of the things we were discussing was this idea of reopening as per the governor's order. Come Friday, small businesses can do the business to go, the drive up, as long as people aren't going into stores. What kind of questions are you getting from small business owners right now as it pertains to this new challenge, as people are going to have to try and figure out how to operate their business without people actually physically coming into their stores?
Well, several of them are calling me saying they're not sure how they can make it work, especially because they're not big online box retail types, and their inventory is hard to display or show to the community. I don't know what's going to happen. I think this is just an initial opening by the governor to step in the right direction, and that, along with, as I said, the elective surgery opportunities. So it's just a progress, so to speak. The governor said on Friday in a conversation with the mayors and county judges across the state that he thought we may be peaking at the end of April. I don't know if that's the case. I would hope and pray it might be, but I don't know for sure. And the sooner we can, the sooner we can continue to manage our personal behavior, to manage the social distancing and abide by the rules and not have large groups congregating, et cetera, which we're still getting reports on. And but until we can do all that, we know that this virus does not spread except by personal contact. So we've got to avoid that.
So that leads me to one of my next questions, because you said you're still getting reports. Where are you at in terms of people calling in 311, trying to address some of these, whether they be house parties, large gatherings, people crowding businesses? Where are you at in terms of warnings versus citations? Because one of the criticisms that we've received on your behalf is the fact that there have been so many warnings and so few citations.
I understand that, and maybe there ought to be a little more personal shaming out there, but let me give you the totals I have thus far. We've had 12,071 visits. They spent 439 hours on this. There have been 740 warnings. There have been 48 citations and 328 follow-up visits. But in addition to this, Eric, understand that we've had 1,758 false reports. So that takes up time and effort on that as well. We're hopeful that we're trying to maintain that as best we can. There's a limit to what we have in the way of manpower from an enforcement standpoint, but it's also important for people to report to 311. And we changed our processes and protocols last week so that the minute you call 311, they're going to send out a task force to go check it out.
Have you considered making every mask wearing a requirement? I know you're encouraging it. I know it's a CDC recommendation. Some people are asking, why is it that you don't just require them? I know in Socorro that was something that happened over the weekend. Why is it that you wouldn't require people to wear masks?
Well, I'd like to require people to wear a mask. I'm not sure we can accomplish that by that simple requirement. But what we are looking at, the judge and I are looking at as we update our directive this week, to comply with the governor's changes, is to mandate that all the employers that are considered essential, that all of their employees must wear masks. And that we know we can control and monitor. We would be hopeful that the public at large would understand that you need to have those face coverings, not just to protect others from you, but it also keeps you from scratching your face, which is everything they talk about. Eyes and face are where you have contact, where it spreads. So we will be mandating that all employers have all of their employees do that, in addition to the requirements we already have on temperature checks for them, as well as if you can do respiratory checks if you want, but temperature checks are adequate.
Border restrictions were just extended for another 30 days. I know that obviously greatly impacts us here in the borderland specifically. You also mentioned to me before we came on the air that you have some new numbers from Juarez. What does another 30 days of these restrictions mean for El Paso?
Well, it allows us to monitor where we are. As I've said on numerous occasions, I do understand that the economic hit to our community is as greater in certain perspectives as the health issue is. But we've got to balance this out, and I'm going to err right now on the side of health. But the sooner we can get this under control, the sooner we can truly plateau and move forward. I'm ready to open up as quickly as we can, but I won't do it at the sacrificing our health as a community overall. But the numbers in Juarez that I just got, and we have daily conversations, is they have 121 confirmed cases and 29 deaths. And that's the best I can give for that. We're still studying that, but we are one region from a health standpoint, and we have to be mindful of that. So we take into account what happens in Juarez. I know that's been a big concern of our county judge, Samaniego, is what goes on in Juarez that might have a detrimental impact on us and our community as well with the transference of that virus.
Are you satisfied with the amount of testing being done here in El Paso? A lot of people are drawing comparisons between what's happening here in El Paso versus even in Doña Ana County, which is significantly less in terms of population. I know it's two different states. I know that it's a very complicated situation. We consider ourselves one community, but obviously you've got the jurisdiction of two different states. Are you satisfied with the testing that's being done here in El Paso?
Well, if you take the ratio based on CDC guidelines of tests per thousand population, we far exceed the CDC guidelines. We're at 5 point something per thousand, and the national average is 1 point. So I think that we will test as many as we can test. It's not a matter, we don't have any issues related to not having the ability to test. So we will test as much as we can. I do agree that the more tests you have, the more coverage you can have. But also the new tests that they were talking about this weekend that were coming out are serum based, as I count. I'm not a medical expert by a long shot, but that they will give you a better reading than the tests we're using right now. So as they come along, we're going to improve that as well. So it's an ever evolving process.
Do you know what your testing capacity is per day right now? You said you don't have an issue getting tests right now?
No, we don't.
So we
have
don't
any
have a
issue.
shortage.
Yeah, if Dr. Okaranza was here, he'd give you the stats on the number of tests we're doing per day. I think we gave it out last night, but I don't have that before me right now. But there's no shortage. If we need to test more, we can test more.
Okay. We'll continue the conversation when this special edition of ABC 7 Extra returns, and we'll have more of your questions answered. We'll be right back.
Look for your accurate, reliable Storm Track Weather 7-day forecast. Plus, Chief Meteorologist Dr. Dave Spielman's Weather 101 column every week in the Spotlight.
Hey everybody, Royd McCarty's here alongside Cole McCamey of Dreamstyle Remodeling. Cole, during these unprecedented times right now, what's going on at Dreamstyle?
I know, Royd. These are unique times. As a construction company, we've been considered an essential business. So we're open, we're ready to go, and we're making the health and safety of our employees, our customers, and our community our #1 priority.
How about the precautionary steps that you're taking with those in-home design consultations? What are you guys doing?
So we're following all the CDC guidelines. We're practicing social distancing and wiping everything down with an alcohol-based cleaning solution. We're going above and beyond. Our installation crews as well. They'll be wearing masks, gloves, and making sure they leave your bathroom a healthy, spotless oasis.
Sounds great. So spring is here. Let's talk fresh starts with a brand new tub or shower. What are people looking for these days?
So it's really two things, right? First, they're looking to get something more modern, more up to date, and we have all the latest styles and trends available. And second, they're looking to get something bigger, more spacious. We can take out that old tub and put in a really nice, easy to enter shower. That's a really popular option.
How about for somebody who would love to start a bathroom remodeling project now, but money's kind of tight, and they're wondering if now is the right time? How can you help them?
We totally understand. And that's why we're doing our biggest promotion ever. Free installation, plus an additional $250 off your entire bathroom project.
Wow, free installation. I mean, what a promotion. What about financing? How can you help there?
So we really want to help people out. And that's why we have two great options. First, we can do 5 years with absolutely no interest. Or you can get that dream bath remodeled for as little as $99 a month.
Wow, Cole, thank you. Folks, did you hear that? It is Dreamstyle Remodeling's biggest offer ever. They're doing free installation and $250 off every bathroom remodel project. Plus, they have two great financing options. They have 0 interest for 5 years, or you can get your dream bathroom installed for as little as $99 per month. And if you call right now, Dreamstyle is going to waive your first 6 payments. Call Dreamstyle Remodeling now.
We will get through this together, and here's how you can help.
Share important facts you've learned with your friends and neighbors here in the borderland.
Use the Share tab on the KVIA News app or email us at share@kvia.com.
To let us know how you've been affected by COVID-19 and the Stay Home Work Safe order.
Or if you know an unsung hero who's done something extraordinary for others, we want to salute people who make a difference when it matters most.
So share with ABC7 and we'll take it from there. Thank you.
Back to this special weekday edition of ABC 7 Extra. Our guest today is El Paso Mayor Dee Margo. Let's get right back into it. I've gotten actually a lot of questions about two things in particular just within the last few minutes, Mayor Margo. So I want to lump these two together. A lot of people are asking about hair salons and golf courses. Now I know they don't go together because one's outdoor, the other's indoor. But what is it? What are the possibilities of reopening hair salons at some point in the near future? I believe the only one that's open, we did a story on the other week, was on Fort Bliss and the measures that they've taken. But that's one of the main questions we've been getting actually over the last couple of minutes.
I don't know, Eric. We'll have to see what we can do and where we are. They're not considered essential, and they don't fall under the retail rules that the governor's relaxed. So we'll just have to look at what we can do. Golf courses, we've gone back and forth on. I'd like to find a way to do it, but I've got to do this in concert with Judge Samaniego. I'm well aware that in other parts of Texas, in Dallas and Fort Worth, golf courses are still open, but we made the decision collectively that there was too much close proximity gathering in groups, and something needed to be done. So if we can work that through, I would like to as well, but I've got to visit with Judge Samaniego because our directives need to be similar.
Speaking of golf courses, we saw last week the city announcing Butterfield Trail will be closed permanently due to the financial concerns and what's happening here with COVID-19. What other potential services or amenities do you envision there being more on the chopping block the longer this thing goes?
Well, we've talked about the city is going to have a shortfall between now and the end of our fiscal year this year, which is August 31st, probably approaching $30 million. And so they've made cuts accordingly. The city manager and our CFO, Robert Cortinas, have been making cuts where they can make cuts and putting projects on hold. We're not doing any more new construction projects. We'll merely finish what we have. And we've been talking about that at City Council. So we're going to tighten our belt as best we can. The senior leadership is taking pay reductions, and there's a discussion that for 3 months that the base salaried employees would reduce by 1%. They were just given a 1% raise in March. So if you do a 3-month reduction of 1%, is just basically a delay of the raise that you had previously for 3 months. But we're looking at everything, and it's all under the auspices of our city manager, Tommy Gonzalez. By the way, Eric, I was just given the numbers. You asked how many tests we performed thus far. 5,847.
5,847. Okay. This falls under one of the city shortfalls you were just talking about. So I don't know how it plays in necessarily with that, but I'm also trying to think about the residents here of El Paso. A couple of questions that we've gotten over the recent weeks is this idea of some type of property tax relief. Obviously, property taxes here are high, and it's a common complaint from a lot of people, and now a lot of people are either on unemployment or they are really hurting right now. I know it doesn't necessarily help the city's budget if you give some type of relief there, but is there any discussion, at least at this point, of potentially providing any type of property tax relief for people?
The property tax relief comes from the state under state mandates. And my understanding is whatever your value was on January the 1st is dictated. But I also want to remind your viewers that the city's take of the property tax is only like 26 cents. The bulk of your property tax goes to schools, like 46 or 47 cents of every tax dollar. That's the schools. We're 26 or 27 cents. I can't recall exactly what the percentage is, but where I sense we'll have it dramatically is in the next year, is in 2021 budget. I expect us to have some significant reductions to the point that the city's budget could be hit up to $100 million. But my understanding is that under state statute, you can't make a change on that. We're looking at other things we're doing at the city to reduce the impact of this financial crisis to everyone and caused by this COVID-19. But my understanding is you can't do anything on the property taxes, and people need to remember that almost 50 cents of their property tax dollar goes to the schools.
What kind of challenges are you facing? We get a lot of complaints about some of the big box stores that are open, that are deemed essential, whether it be some of the grocery stores or the home improvement stores, about large crowds there. They are big chain retailers in many cases. What kind of challenges do you face trying to enforce the social distancing within those stores? Because that's where we're getting a lot of our complaints from people.
Well, we're out there trying to encourage them. Economic Development Division of our city is out there also trying to help them. And, you know, several of them I've seen and been told they'll mark off 6-foot spaces by tape. They change their aisles to their one-way aisles so you don't cross. I mean, we're looking at it. We're trying to encourage those employers to do what they need to do. And at the same time, as I said earlier, their employees need to be wearing masks.
Okay, that's all the time we have for this special edition of ABC 7 Extra. Mayor DeMargo, thank you so much for taking some additional time with us today, as we still have a lot of questions coming in, so hopefully we can revisit them in the days to come. Thanks again for taking some time.